Yo, what's going on, everybody? Makowski here with the first ever episode of the G1 podcast. This is something we've been talking about for a long time. I think with the last year getting into Halo, Rocket League, Trackmania, and everything else we've been doing, some of this other stuff kind of fell by the wayside, but at the same time feels like at the core of what we should be doing. So this is something we're really excited about, something we're going to be doing more consistently and frequently. And we thought with episode 1, what better way to start it out than with the G1 origin story. And I don't know if we even have enough time in 1 hour to talk about this because it really is a pretty wild esports and gaming story. But I've got my partners and fellow co-founders here, Kenny Vaccaro, Cody Hendricks. The three of us are the founders and owners of Gamers First. And I thought the best way to start this off would just kind of be go down the line as to how we all linked up and how we all met. So I wanted to start with Cody, talking about how you met me, what your perspective was like with that, and how we got into Halo. And then I'll talk about how I met Kenny, and then we'll carry it on from there. So, Cody, take it away.
All right, this is going to be cut and edit. I think this podcast should be way more flowy than just like, all right, guys, straight into it. Like, we should have small talk bullshit, kind of chop it up and just kind of like set the stage.
The only planned question I had was
like an intro
to start.
Yeah,
that was an intro.
That was it.
We just kind of got to be a little more like authentic rather than like, hey guys, this is the podcast. All right, Cody, how did
this is perfect for the podcast. So
Yeah.
we put this shit in it. Talking about it.
Yeah, I was
It's
about to say,
funny as hell.
let it rip, bro. I'm cool with whatever.
That's fine. So yeah, I mean, I don't know why you want to start with me because I was the last one to come on board, so I don't think I should be the one.
How y'all met though?
to start? I guess
actually,
that's a little bit
like,
deeper.
I mean, we can connect. I mean, I guess Hunter knew me, and we couldn't do it alone. So you brought in Cody. Obviously, that was a huge thing. And
So
thinking back on it, I'm like, holy shit! Thank God we brought Cody in. But
No doubt. So I guess I'll start with that. I met Cody. We were around like 13, 14 years old. It was right
Like
around
6th grade.
Yeah, right around the time between Halo CE and Halo 2, and at the time we were both on the football team, and you'd come home from football practice, and you'd still wanted the chance to compete with each other, so we'd go play Halo. The passion turned into a hobby, and then the hobby turned into a profession when I found Major League Gaming, and wanted to potentially pursue that as a way to compete because I'd been playing football as well. It's kind of how Kenny and I tie in. We both grew up playing football. Cody did as well, and started making montages. And I know, Cody, you have a good story about montages and how they impacted your life when you were 14, 15 years old, and what that scene did to you as a gamer, getting you, I guess, more entrenched in the scene at the time because you were kind of casual / hardcore, and then the Halo montage scene started up, and you got a little bit more into it.
So my history from like a gaming standpoint is like I've been gaming since I was like 3. So my first console was the original NES. So it was all Duck Hunt, Mario, like basically every game that came out on NES had that. Super Nintendo, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, Dreamcast. But then I never got the PlayStation 3. I had the PS2. And then I was at summer camp one year, and my mom got this weird like infatuation with eBay and like finding great snags on eBay. So I got home from summer camp, and my mom was like, hey, I bought this on eBay. It's Xbox 360, and it comes with like so many games or whatever. So that was kind of my first introduction into like the Xbox scene. But I was a kid that played a lot of PC games as well. I was super big into Counter-Strike, or not Counter-Strike. Played Counter-Strike at LAN centers. Never had it on my own PCs, but like I didn't really get to buy a lot of PC games, but I would download cracked versions of them and play. So like StarCraft Brood War, or like Jedi Knights 2. Really big in the competitive StarCraft scene back in like, that was got to be like 99, 2000, and played that. That was like kind of my first real experience with like online multiplayer. So then when I got an Xbox 360, it didn't have the hard drive, and so when I found out all my buddies had been playing Halo 2 on the original Xbox for, at that point, it had to have been almost 2 years. So that was the first time I got to like jump online and play with the homies. But when you're playing an Xbox game on an Xbox 360, you couldn't do it without the hard drive. So I had to save up, go get myself the hard drive. And got the hard drive, got online, started playing Halo 2, just messing around, like kind of on the casual side of things, super jumps, button glitches, doing a bunch of all of that stuff. Like we had a big group of football guys that we would go play with after school every day. And I didn't really know much about it because it was like my first like actual shooter. Besides, I did play the N64 a lot too. So GoldenEye, I played a lot of GoldenEye, but that was the first like competitive shooter I've ever played. So we would grind that out a lot. And I mean, I was the biggest noob, bro. I didn't even know you had to hit headshots. Like one of our friends, Joe Cooper, he hopped in the lobby one day and he's like, "Man, I suck. Like I can't hit any headshots." And I was like, "Wait, why do you aim at the head?" He's like, "Bro, you have to shoot him in the head. Like if you don't shoot him in the head, you don't get the 4-shot." That's where I was like, "Man, there's like another level to this outside of just like shooting people and beating them down." So like that's when I really started to like dive into it. And around that time was when MTV True Life came out, and I saw the True Life I'm a Pro Gamer with Fatality and T-Squared.
Yeah.
And the fact that they went with T-Squared as the personality, where showed this kid at LAN events with girls' underwear around his neck, talking shit in baggy white tees, like just a lot of culture outside of just like the typical gamer nerd, and finding out about the MLG scene. I kind of got obsessed, and I talked to one of our mutual friends, Eric, that we played Halo with. I was like, "Bro, have you heard about like this competitive Halo scene?" And that's when he was like, "Yeah, it's like, Hunter like makes montages, right?" I was like, "What's a montage?" So he like told me about it, and I went home, like got on the internet, and at that time it was right when I think YouTube had not come out yet.
It was my second montage was a week before YouTube launched.
Yeah, so it was a little bit after that, because it was right after it was a little bit after you'd put out your montage 4. I think that was the Set It Off one, right?
Set It Off was montage 2, but montage 1 had corrupted clips. It was
okay. Set It Off was 2. I'm talking about the fourth one, which was with the Incubus song.
Yeah, that was montage 4.
So yeah, I went and like found him, and this was like we had been kind of like acquaintances at that point.
Yeah, we weren't quite friends yet.
Homies.
No, yeah.
But then I found that stuff, and I was like, "Holy shit, this is fucking sick!" Like, so I downloaded the montages, and like at that time you had like the iPod Touches coming out, but I was like the weird kid that went and got like the Microsoft Zune.
The Zune.
And bro, I had your montages on my Zune. I would like watch them in class, and I'd like basically study how to like hit clips and stuff like that. So then we try to like assimilate a foursome to kind of be our ragtag group, and try to like, that was right before Game Battles came out. We were going to try to like run it up, but yeah, that's kind of how you and I linked up on the gaming side. And it kind of lulled down to just casual gaming up until, I mean, through junior and senior year, that was all Halo 2 and then Halo 3. And then freshman year in college, we both went to Arkansas. Just so happened we both went to the same school, and you popped out of the blue and was like, "Hey, I'm going to a tournament. Like, do you want to be my coach?" I was like,
crazy.
"Fuck yeah, let's fucking go."
Oh man.
Crazy. So yeah, a lot of people don't know this, but Cody was, I think, one of the first 5 coaches in MLG history to sign that professional contract. This was right after like Bravo, Triple X,
it was like
Mazik.
There wasn't that many.
There were not many.
There were a
no.
lot of pro coaches before I came on the scene. I didn't really have a huge like resume or like a portfolio of work in the coaching scene. It was more that you had like the Maziks, the Bravos, and all those guys that had been the established dudes, but they hadn't been contracted professionals by MLG at that point. So
just coaching.
The first tournament that we ended up placing it with a pro placement, which was top 16 at that time, right afterwards, they sent out like a mass, well, not really a mass, it was like everybody but like the top 3 guys that already had the contracts.
Yep.
They sent it out to that like 4 to 16 guys, and I was in that group at that point in time, along with you on like the competitor side.
Yeah, so and I, for me personally, I got into competition almost as like bait from the pro community, who called me an online warrior, a montage kid, all this shit, and I was like, you know what, man, fuck it, I'm gonna prove that I can do what I do online in these clips on LAN as well. So that was kind of how I got involved with MLG. My first love and my first passion was really through content, because I knew how much happiness and joy Halo gave me. I knew all the relationships and friendships it brought to me. So I thought if I could create content that got people excited, got people like metaphorically and maybe physically standing up out of their chair, cheering for what they had seen, that they might walk over to the setup and link up with their friends on Xbox Live. So for me, that was always my goal, was to just share the love and get people motivated to play their favorite game.
Well, that's honestly, it's crazy that you say that, because during that Halo 3 era, like, I'm already kind of an insomniac and had a really tough time, like, waking up for school because I'd stay up late doing just anything at all. And it'd be like midnight, 1 o'clock, I'd finally go to bed. I'd sleep for like an hour and a half, and I'd have a dream about hitting a clip, and I would literally get out of bed, hop on for like, and this is at the time, like 2005. Me and my family had just built a house, 14. And it was right when fiber came out, and they wired my whole neighborhood.
You were in
so
Godspeed.
I was playing on like 4 ping since 2005, not knowing I had to hit headshots. Damn. That's because I was just hitting bodies and killing everybody before they killed me.
You probably didn't need it.
Yeah, it was totally different.
We're all on dial-up. Cody's
before that,
on
it was
fiber.
like DSL, or if like you were really getting it, you were on like T3. But then fiber just blew that out of the water. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of how your montages were for me, is like seeing, because I was always grounded as a kid, so I would like mess around with video cameras, create like stop action movies with like my sister's toys and stuff, just messing around to entertain myself, make football highlight reels. And seeing that in like the gaming form was something that like really was like inspiring and made me want to like, and I wasn't good off the rip. I wasn't the guy that picked up the controller and was just like fragging. Like I had to grind to get it out.
Yeah. I mean, that brings me into like kind of my story. I started gaming like 3-4 years old, but I didn't really play FPS shooter until Halo in high school, middle school with my friends. After football practice, we all go up back to, I remember Peyton Ragsdale house. He had a little den back then, the cool kids, right?
Oh, yeah. Everyone had that one house.
That one guy.
Yeah, with the cool parents.
I grew up on dial-up.
Yep.
I was playing like, I remember PC games like, you remember Oregon Trail?
Oh, yeah.
Then the Oregon Trail went to RuneScape because we had dial-up, and RuneScape was probably the only game that I could play.
Yeah, it didn't require any hardware to play.
It was just me and my brother, who's now a videographer for us. But
Oregon Trail, you die of typhoid crossing the Colorado River.
If you don't eat,
that's right.
You hunt bison. It was the best. Remember Minesweeper?
Oh, yeah.
I'm a god at Minesweeper, bro.
Solitaire.
That's my stuff.
Solitaire. Solitaire was always fun. I love playing Solitaire.
The Windows pinball game.
The Windows pinball. You just brought me back. I forgot about that one. That was good.
You get tilted a little too hard.
Yeah.
Yep. Dude, I was playing all those games.
And then went into obviously the Nintendo 64. Even before that, Super Nintendo. You got Mortal Kombat, NBA Jam.
Yeah.
Heating up.
Yep.
Do like 6 backflips and dunk the ball.
NFL Blitz.
NFL Blitz.
NHL Hits was probably the game I went hardest on those on PlayStation 1.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like GoldenEye, obviously. 64. Zeldas. I was huge into Game Boy. I mean, Pokemon, absolutely addicted.
Oh, bro.
Digimon.
Pokemon, I think, was the game that I put the most hours in.
That might be a whole different episode. I actually went back and played Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. It's pretty much the same game. You just start off with a different Pokemon in training camp. And then all the way through high school, I was still playing RuneScape, even if people made fun of me. It was funny. And then when I got to college as a collegiate athlete, you almost – like I played some Call of Duty, but I didn't have as much time, right? We wake up 6 a.m., workouts, 8 o'clock class all day, go to practice, study hall. So I would play casually, but my rookie year when I broke my ankle, Destiny had just came out, Destiny 1, and I was like, let me get back into this because I had to sit for 8 weeks.
What was the first COD game you ever played? Were you on the COD 4 or was it like Modern Warfare 2?
Modern Warfare 2, and that's why and the
ACR.
new title, same thing. But yeah, broke my ankle, had to sit for 8 weeks on bed rest, and I went and I said, it's time. Bought Destiny. I had so much hype. I remember I saw the commercials like every other day. Bought it. Didn't have any friends. I used to go on Twitter and be like, hey, does anybody play this game? My NFL buddies, they played a little bit, but it was such a grind. It took a certain person that really cared and was passionate about gaming to stay committed to that game because it's like a 12-hour campaign, man, just to get started, just to get the PvP.
The loot alone, just to get your light level up, is a full grind.
Yeah, so I started off in like Destiny just playing. I had no friends, so PvE. I was just a titan.
Did you play Destiny from release, D1?
Yeah. I remember watching people on our org, Crafty, Triple Rec, Miss 5000 Watts, Jimmy, Ceridius. shoot, I remember when Tipu was doing speed runs
with
the raid. I mean, I watched all these guys. It's crazy come full circle now. You know, half of them are on our roster, but I mean, Jake.
That's nuts.
Yep.
It's crazy that you had that experience with like the PvE side, because first 2 years of Destiny, we didn't touch anything but PvP. I didn't even know what a raid was. I'd run a couple strikes in a Nightfall to try to get like better guns and some cool like exotics, but
I was addicted to like the PvE side, but I wasn't. It wasn't until like I just dove into PvP for the first time that it changed everything. Like my whole outlook on gaming, like what it did for me, like that competitive fire, that void it filled when I wasn't playing sports. And then speaking of clips and you being inspired by Hunter's montages, I was on Instagram one day. I was like, I gotta find somebody to play PvP with because my NFL buddies don't play. And Blackbeard was popping up on my timeline or whatever. I don't know if it was search or whatever it was. Explore page. Yeah. He was in these clips. You know, funny dude, great with the content. I DM'd him, hey man, I play Destiny, play PvP. Like, we want to play sometime. And then that's where you came in. He was like, yeah, I'll get my boy Hunter, or he said Makowski, to play with this. And I remember like, oh, fuck. Then I went and searched your name, whatever, started looking at clips. And I remember like feeling like, almost like my rookie year when I was about to go against, you know, a Julio Jones or a Tony. I was like nervous because I wanted to prove myself so bad, right? And I was a noob, like Cody was saying. Like, I didn't understand everything. And then me and you started playing together. I guess one thing led to another. You had to actually leave. You had already went to PC. You would leave PC once a day, come back to PlayStation, which now I know you made the ultimate sacrifice in life because I will not touch
I was almost
console.
throwing up, coming off of like 240 frames on PC playing PvP to going over to 30 frames on PlayStation.
30 frames.
Bro, I was like after an hour I'd be like, hey yo, I'm having fun, but like I'm physically getting sick.
Oh yeah, you're going from like at that point in time,
I couldn't do it.
You didn't have like a beast PC, but you were still getting like over 150, so you're like that 144 hertz range, and then PlayStation, was it 60?
It was 30. It was 29.37.
Okay, so yeah, PlayStation was exactly where Xbox was. Where I remember being on Xbox and playing Overwatch at 60, and going back to Destiny at 30 was hard. I can't imagine going from
and he would play
140 plus back down, where you're literally watching a storybook.
Yeah, and he would play every day, same thing. And then finally, when I finally got I remember I went and bought the pre-built Corsair one computer that was literally the size of a damn
briefcase.
It was small, bro. It was like a cylinder, right? It eventually melted.
It was like
one
the
night.
size of the Xbox One X now.
Yeah, and
whole PC.
Yeah, I was just like, man, thank you for what you did, because I just remember now it gets to the point my boys want me to play console, and I'm just like, I'll get you a PC, homie. But yeah, that's how. I mean, we linked up. I mean, shit, we got a whole different side of the story when it comes to SOAR.
Well, you also got to like tell your story, how you went from being like the montage kid to going to events and then like becoming a social media based like gaming influencer. Content creator, because that was a very big transition right there. That wasn't something that
I'd gotten away from gaming because like you said, Kenny,
this kid was Old Man Makowski
since I was 12 years old.
Since he was 12, and then he got a job in radio marketing. Changed every single one of his Twitter handles to do you like sports, Twitter, Instagram, everything. And I straight up told him, I was like, bro, you're literally just going to delete Old Man Makowski off the face of the earth. Like, you don't have any of those handles or anything anymore.
Yeah.
Completely went away from gaming. Stopped. Like, you didn't stop gaming, but
when I close chapters, I close that door and I plant that foot forward and I push towards. I don't look over the shoulder. So that for me, even though I loved gaming and I loved the character and the alias I had made through Old Man Makowski, I thought it was just time to step into the next chapter and start to take on some business experience. I started working in sales and marketing and things that I was still passionate about, which was like radio. I love radio content. I love sports. So I got to work at a sports station in Dallas, the #1 sports station in the world, actually. But going back to the day that we first linked up. Yeah. So you hit me up and I had already known about you because we both grew up in Texas. I wanted to play for Texas, got recruited by Tech, TCU, all this shit. We were kind of like
recruiting classes.
We were parallel on paths, but like just didn't know who each other were. So, but I knew who you were, and after it sounds like watching some of my clips, you knew who I was.
Yeah.
So I was stoked. You were stoked to link up. We both had that same kind of competitive passion and fire.
Yep.
And I'd known how you played on the football field, and I love playing with people like that in game that kind of try hard. You know, they take it serious. They want to win. They want to like put their whole blood, sweat, and tears into it. Because like if you're gonna do anything, why not go all in? And I knew you were like that. So when you said like I got an hour to play, let's link up. I didn't even have a PlayStation at the time, and you were on PlayStation.
You even bought that bitch, huh? You ordered
bro,
it.
I didn't buy it, bro. I went on
right?
Postmates. And it was the day that GameStop got added to Postmates, and I saw they had a special on the Spider-Man PS4. So I ordered it off of Postmates, had it delivered to the apartment, set it up, and was ready in time to get that 1 hour in that we played for the first time and really like linked up and hit it off.
Yeah, it was dope. I remember. And then one day led to another, and then you convinced me to get a PC, which was the best decision of my life. And then we can go into like SOAR recruiting you.
Yeah. So kind of alluding back to what Cody was talking about, because that's a whole, crazy side story, but
all of this was founded not on just Destiny PvP. It was mainly Trials of Osiris.
Yeah.
Like that was the game.
Trials was the catalyst to turn
like when you were playing with Kenny, we were working with Streamlabs, and you would take early days, be like, all right, I'm going to head out at like 1 and go play with Kenny.
Yep.
And when we were playing originally, like I was working an internship, and I would take my 1 hour lunch break, run home, run a card, go back to work.
Bro, I would literally, on Fridays while I was playing in the NFL, not even shower, go straight home, eat.
And you take your box, you take your setup on the road.
I'd hit it.
We'd play from the hotels.
Get home, quick rinse off, starve, and just get right on the game. Like I literally remember being like laying in my bed Thursday night, couldn't wait for Trials the next day.
Yeah,
like, Destiny Trials of Osiris changed everything for me as far as like how deep I was into gaming, right?
Yeah,
like because I was competing. It's a beautiful mode, bro. Like,
yeah, the Trials, while it's gotten a little stale after so many years now, I mean, there's still that magic in it, that event type feel, that tournament type feel.
Well, I think it also has a lot to do with the fact that it is like, in all practical purpose, an S&D type mode without the objective, but one life to live per round. And those games have like, look at Counter-Strike, it's the most staying power. There's so much to lose and everything. The narrative and just the gameplay itself, I think, is what made it.
Counting on your teammate and just all the things.
Clutching up 1v3. Is that not the greatest?
Bro, like, how about...
It might be the greatest feeling ever, man. I'm just saying, like...
That's one. That's two.
And when your teammates trust it, too, and they're like, oh, he's about to clutch up. You got
like,
this. I know I do.
Our year one experience with Eric.
Huh?
We literally ran Trials every week for the entire first year of Destiny and never went flawless.
Yep.
Yeah.
Until...
Oh man, Cody, myself, and our childhood best friend Eric, we would we took an entire year to go flawless, and on the final year of year one, and we did this for year two too, but on the final weekend of year one, we could say we went flawless in year one. We barely made it to the lighthouse. I actually still have some of the clips up on YouTube somewhere, but it's like it took wild plays to get that. Like
I got that
crazy
snipes. I felt like a god after that.
Bro, when I went flawless on Burning Shrine, the OG one.
Yep.
Shed a tear, bro.
Oh yeah.
Like, it was like literally getting drafted to the NFL, bro.
Yeah.
Because I remember just win one match, win two, win three, get beat, knocked back down, right?
Yep.
Then you get to 4, 5, 6, get knocked back down.
Well, it's kind of like in sports. It's like we're just taking it one game at a time. You know what I mean? Like that's really what the Trials is.
Yeah, and then getting to the point where you're like competing, and your teammates are trusting you, and you're not the guy that they just tell just jump off the map. Like it's like, no, you got this. You know what I mean? Like, and it's strategic, right? Because you don't want them to build supers. But when it got to the point where like, after playing with you, I got to the point, I'm competing against the top players. We're in the highest elo. Well, you're like, Kenny, you got this. Let's get it.
Oh, yeah. No, Kenny, we started off, and you were that guy that was maybe told, like, hey,
get off.
Don't let him milk any super. Jump off, Kenny. But it didn't take long, and this was another like thing that really got me stoked about our relationship was like you were so willing to learn how to play. And for me, I was an expert sniper. So you were like, Mac, like, take me through sniper school. Teach me everything you know. And you sponge that up in like a matter of like 3 to 6 months while like during the playoffs at the prime of your career.
Yeah.
Like, what was that experience like? Learning how to play something new.
Yeah, it's fun. Just like me leaving the NFL, this year and a half ago, whatever it may be, and coming to this side, I'm learning so much. It's just fun. It's like it's a new chapter in my life. I would say that this might really be chapter 3 because that was like chapter 2 was the FPS, the dawn of FPS in my life. But No, it was something that I was truly passionate about. I didn't really feel I wanted to learn. I wanted to grow. I wanted to get better. And I wanted, honestly, to beat these people that would consist. I remember going against Illumi, and then you just get my ass beat, 4-0, 5, like whatever it is. It wouldn't matter.
Yep.
And then getting to the point where these games are tight or we're actually winning, right? Going against Crafty, going against Butt White. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I remember those days where Jake.
Yep.
Just getting to the point where you're at that top, like 1%. It was special for me, and it just took a lot. It took a lot of hard work, but I grinded just as much as I did in the NFL. In Destiny, bro, I played so many hours. I had more hours than Luke Smith. Like, he was like, "How many hours you got?"
Yep, I remember that at the dinner.
I said more than you
at the dinner table. Luke Smith was like, "There's no way you play that much Destiny. You're in the NFL, like, and you're a good player, so you put in a lot of time. Like, there's no way." So they both pull out the phones, and Kenny's got like 4,200 hours, and Luke Smith has 2,000 hours.
Oh yeah, he had 2,000. I had 4,200.
Maybe 2,600. I'm gonna give Luke the extra 600.
Yeah, but it was crazy.
Yeah, that was a wild moment. That was definitely they checked your gamer, and you came out on top on that one. That was interesting.
No, me and Luke still talk to this day. I mean, what a great dude. Dude's lost.
Oh man, Luke Smith,
lost so much weight.
Dylan, DMG from Bungie. We've been to Bungie twice now, and that relationship something I know we definitely hold near and dear to our heart.
Yep, 100%. But let's get back on track. You get picked up by Sora. I'll let you talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. So my whole I
think before you get to Sora, you got to talk about how you became like an actual content creator in the modern terms of like the gaming side.
Yeah.
That's a huge step from going to a pro to just like getting signed as a content creator, because that was a huge that whole job. 2 years you didn't really exist as a gamer.
Yeah. So starting off, I knew when I was 12 I wanted to do something with gaming. I remember making my gamer tag, and I remember Xbox Live coming out, and I was like, oh, I need a gamer tag. And so being 12 years old, I wanted to come up with a really trolling gamer tag that would convince people online, because I knew we were going to be playing online, they wouldn't be able to see me, that they were playing against an awful player. So I just wanted to kind of like play the mind game. And I was watching Dexter's Lab one day, and old man Makowski was this neighborhood character that always got picked on by the kids, like Ding Dong Ditch, all that stuff. And they said his name, Old Man Makowski. I was like, Old Man Makowski, that's it. They're gonna think I'm 50 years old. They're gonna think I'm a boomer. They're gonna think I'm trash. And that is exactly how it went. My first up until the time I went to an MLG event and you got to see me on LAN in person, people were like, yo, what the hell? I thought you were 30. I was like, I'm a teenager, bro. Like, I was just trolling y'all.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how that started. But yeah, after I accomplished that dream of becoming a professional gamer, and this was before that, I was the first person to ever make MLG montages and MLG content, gaming content even. So one of the first people to ever make gaming content pre-YouTube, like Cody was saying. And at the very base of it all, that was really my initial motivation, because I knew that content could, like I said, get people excited to play their favorite games, and that was really all I wanted to do. It wasn't until the pros that I was clipping and putting in these montages would send me messages on Xbox Live like, you'll never do this to me on LAN, you'll never do this at an event, you're trash. So being competitive, I was like, all right, well, even if I fail,
we won't
I don't
name
care.
Names, but there's some people we may or may not have mentioned that are some big staples that would leave lobbies when you joined because they didn't want to get put
I'll
in
tell
the
the story right here.
Let's talk about it.
This is what the podcast is. Yeah, I'll never forget. I loaded up. Walshy invited me to a free-for-all snipes lockout.
Legend.
This is 05, 06. I was the maybe like fourth or fifth person to join. I'm just chilling, waiting. Got the Dazzle DVC 90 ready to record.
Ready to get them.
And absolutely. And
there was no Xbox record that back then.
And there's no
you had to record hold gameplays.
Yep.
And if you didn't do shit, you just had to delete the file.
Yep.
MP3 days, huh?
Oh,
yep.
Straight up.
And so this was right after I started getting some notoriety with my montages, again pre-YouTube.
Yep.
And the last person to join up is T Squared, who you mentioned earlier was on MTV True Life. And I'm telling you guys, not even a second went by, and he goes, oh, hell no. There ain't no way I'm playing with this kid. And of course, he's talking about me. He's like pointing, but he's like, they're all online again.
Yeah.
And I knew he was talking about me. And then he goes, I will never play in a lobby with Makowski because all he's here to do is clip us.
Oh man, I was just talking to T-Squared
and then Walshy was like, hell no, bro. Like he's the homie and he's good. So he ain't going nowhere. So T-Squared left.
Damn,
because he didn't want to get clipped. Which
shout out Tom Taylor.
We can laugh about it now. I told him about this story a couple years ago at PAX. But yeah, and this was at a time where I was really trying to get guys to understand the value in content and the ability content had to bridge the gap between competitions, because tournaments were only every 2 months. Content we could produce daily. So that was really my message to the pros, was like, we need to all get behind this shit. And I know it's almost like deja vu. I feel like we're still in that exact same point to this day where it's like, not even just Halo pros, but like just
pro players in
general.
Well, that was pre-social media too, where nobody really understood the importance of digital marketing on the internet.
Yep.
If this was 5 years later, you're talking millions of followers, like millions.
No, like we like our generation.
We were just too early.
We were 5 to 6 years too early from the because if Twitter was around during 2005 or YouTube,
being the first one,
like
Twitter,
we had MySpace that was like kind of coming on, but there wasn't a way for you to like really
share your shit.
There was like Tila Tequila and like Tom from MySpace that had the MySpace emo scene where you get a lot of followers, but the gaming creators weren't really there.
No,
like I didn't watch Twitch until after Halo 3 was done, when Halo Reach became a thing.
Yeah, that was like 2011.
That was Justin TV. Yeah,
2011 was
6 years later.
This was 04 out when I was getting it going. So we were way too early to really, like you said, maximize on that social following. But I don't regret any of that, because I'll always be able to like go to the grave and feel really proud of the fact that I feel strongly in my heart that I was a big part of the architect for creating all this shit. Yeah. I'm not a nade shot. I'm not I'm really nothing. I'm nobody. I don't have a big following, but I was in the trenches, and a lot of those guys who do have big followings were inspired by my shit. Some of them know that it was mine, and they'll give me my props, but some of them just don't even know. They just saw Taj and thought it was dope, and that's cool too.
Yeah, it's the same way with Eli and Tyler Ninja. I mean, he saw his stuff, looked up to him. Yep. Snatched his name as soon as Eli retired.
Yep, exactly.
He inspired people.
The montages really did inspire that like early generation in more ways than one. And it wasn't long before the pros came around to the idea of making montages and making content. Walshy was actually the first one to do it. I was in Walshy's ear every single time I was joining those lobbies. And then I finally I was like, dude, you need to make a montage. I want a free for all. And I started kind of using that to like talk some shit. And I was like, yo, if you don't make a montage, I don't know what I said, but eventually he made a montage, and that was regarded as like that was a big catalyst.
Yeah,
that was when
like
it was like
3D work, CGI stuff, like way before its time,
way ahead of its time.
When they shot there's like a Spartan with a sniper, and he shoots it, and the bullet spins out of the barrel, and it twists, and once it twists around, it has like Walshy etched into it.
Yep,
that was crazy. That blew my mind.
Yeah, that was ahead of its time, and so were we, but kind of like connecting the timeline. I was 12 when I started competing online, 13, 14 when I started creating content, and then became a professional Halo MLG player in 2009 when I was 19. And then after that, I graduated from school and was like, there's you can't make a living doing this.
There wasn't that
opportunity.
It was also Halo 4.
And it was also Halo 4. Yeah, exactly.
Esports was still behind.
And Esports was
that was like the
started.
birth of, that's when like the optics and the phases
the
came
scumps,
out with the Call of Duty.
The scumps and the nade shots and the optics
and
phases was
like montages, frag videos, and
same time,
gaming content came out.
Ninja blowing up on Twitch 2011 around the same timeline.
Yep.
Just a massive shift in the scene.
So I took my efforts to the business world, which sounds super fucking lame, and he's saying it out loud, but that's just what we did. Had to do to survive. And I was 21, 22 at the time. I was a grown man. I needed to start making money and paying rent and paying bills and all that shit. So I got out of esports and gaming, got into sales and marketing, like I said, at the Ticket, #1 sports radio station at the time. I think still is to this day. And like Cody said, man, I completely got away from gaming. I played casually, but as far as
Classicas.
Yeah, we had our Classicas where we played FIFA
Destiny,
and NHL and Madden against each other. I still gamed for sure, but I just did it without any intention of growing a brand or making Makowski like a name or a household name or anything like that.
You still had the Xbox record that clips though.
Oh yeah, and that's a good segue because the Xbox record that I had. the most banger Destiny 1 clips anyone's never seen because they all got deleted by these Classico tournaments where if you scored a FIFA goal or if you scored a touchdown in Madden, it would automatically record. So
30 seconds.
Bro, I went into like I was like I had
You're
all
also guilty a little bit of hitting some half-court FIFA shots and
clip.
Well,
clip.
like you wouldn't
Got
even
pushed
want
out.
you wouldn't even want the clip, but we would like disrespect the other person. Like like we would
Oh.
if I scored a dope goal on you, I was gonna stand up and be like, Xbox, record that, just to like shit on you because you knew it was gonna get clipped.
Yep.
Yeah.
So one day I'm like, you guys got like check out all my clips, guys. I had load up everything on the living room TV, ready to show them some bangers, and then it's all fucking FIFA, NHL, and Madden clips. All my Destiny.
You can
shits.
only have 100 clips,
And you could only have 100 clips. Not a single Destiny clip to speak of. And Cody, who's sitting on the couch next to me, was like, bro, why don't you start an Instagram?
You threw a fit. You're like, bro,
I was pissed.
I'm never gonna play again. I've lost all these clips.
Because I thought, yes, because in my head and my eyes, I was like, well, I still got it. Like, I could go out and put a high caliber.
You were like defeated.
I was very defeated.
I
was depressed.
I'd made music in
hurt.
the past. I've lost so many projects that where it's like it just gets deleted, and you either have to like sit there and sulk, or you just know that like I've done it once, like I can hit it again.
Yeah, I remember that's what Cody said. He was like, if you've done it once, you can hit it again. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Because I didn't even think I could still hit it after being away from the game for so long. So I was like, maybe you're right. Maybe I can. So
it just sucks because it's D1 though.
oh my god, bro!
Those are precious.
Reapers, like
I would do anything.
Reapers and Slayers of like all jump shots and no scopes,
I'll
like
do anything.
shit
We're
that
talking
no one's
like
ever seen anybody
1,000-yard
do.
stare, like pre-longbow days.
We're talking about Isalunas. We're talking.
Yeah.
You know,
Even
At least Cody,
pre-ice
hey,
Lunas.
at least Cody got to see it.
I saw a couple of them. They were pretty fucking good.
1,000-yard stare.
But
Quality.
so Cody was like, man, instead of like just sitting on these clips, why don't you just download them to your phone and then just post them on Instagram? And like at the time, Instagram, this was 2016.
IG was
17?
2000
Pictures.
2015.
IG was just pictures.
no
IG
videos.
ain't had
I don't
no
think you could put a
gaming.
video- Could you put a video on there?
No, it was
Nope.
right when you could, because I got on IG like hella early.
early.
I was on
Early.
IG like
Early, bro.
2010.
I thought it was
Early.
like a photo editor.
If you saw me in the feed, you'd be
filter.
like, "Hey, yo, what? Like gaming? Like what? Where's the picture of the
It was
whatever?"
mainly just supposed to be like an archive for you to be able to just store
Yeah,
everything.
and that's how it all started. I didn't get back into it to like get a bunch of followers on Instagram. I was just like, I just want this so I can go back and look back on it. And that's all I cared about was just the memories and the
nice
moments. That's it.
to archive stuff.
So that's how I started my Instagram, and then all of a sudden the fucking Instagram just started blowing up, and a lot of people in the comments were like, "Hey, yo, can you go live so we can watch this shit live?" And I was kind of like, well, shit, if you guys want me to. Like all this shit was so like not planned out, but I was just like, screw it, man. Like
Streaming off the Xbox Twitch app.
I was just streaming off the Xbox Twitch app, and sure enough, like 15, 20 people every single time would come through from Instagram and support the stream. So even on day one, I had like 15 concurrent viewers or whatever, just because the support on Instagram was real, and sure enough, they came over, and that was when just organically like you said, that modern kind of like content grind started back up again for me, and I started streaming on Twitch, and mainly through the Trials of Osiris, and that's how Soar Gaming gets involved here. So just I'm grinding, I'm posting a clip a day, I'm streaming every day
In the community.
Just I'm out there doing my thing, and Soar Gaming reaches out and they're like, "Hey, yo, we want you to come over and be the GM of our Destiny squad." And I was like, holy shit, dude, like, oh my god, like I remember being like absolutely flabbergasted, because Soar's like,
I mean, you told me it's a content org. They started in 2011.
yeah, no, Soar's like the OGs. I was like, damn, this is like to me,
They were
I'm like,
right
this is
there
barely
shoulder
like
to
not
shoulder
joining
with, like,
phase.
But
Optic and Phase.
Yeah,
in
they're
the
right
time
there
of like
in,
formation.
yeah, but before that, we had already been gaming together for a year. We tried to start G1.
You had a parallel sort of. We called it the Respect Tour, and this is let's hold the Respect Tour, because the Respect Tour really starts off like that, like G1 origin story shit. But for me, I was just like, fuck, dude, I just want to do cool shit with the homies. So I brought you onto Soar, I brought Ceridius onto Soar, and this is when you were in the playoffs playing against Tom Brady, Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, but you got to remember, we wanted to start G1
Yeah,
a year before.
chronologically, we were already like,
So yeah,
you felt bad. You're like,
because
Yeah.
you and
gotta
I
tell you
going back
something.
to the
What's wrong?
Halo
Yep,
days.
yep.
We basically started a team in Halo 3 with like
Check your-
sponsored by
yeah,
your
check your
uncle.
pulse.
And
Yep.
we always knew we wanted to do it again. When we were working at Streamlabs and stuff, and we built out a really cool thing at Streamlabs, but we knew like we wanted to move on and get back into like the esports side of
Yep.
thing.
Yep.
And I saw, like, for me, it was like seeing these clans, right? Like the old, Primal.
Primal, yep.
And then, obviously the Optics and Phase were coming up.
Yep.
And I came to you and we're like, let's just do our own org. Like not knowing anything.
Yeah.
And we had
prepared.
That was
the Infinite thing too at the same time. So having that experience as well, that
was
also piggybacked
into year, maybe
why we did it.
2 years prior to G1 starting, Kenny and I and Cody initially we had been talking about doing this for a while now.
Yep.
It had been in some ways. Went to Kenny and was like,
they ain't coming.
Well, we had a really bad experience.
We're not ready yet.
I was like, bro, I talked to all the big Destiny streamers at the time, and I was like, hey, yo, I'm linking up with Kenny Vaccaro, NFL player. He's a huge Destiny fan. He's actually about that life. Like, I can vouch for him. He's the real deal. He's a true gamer. Yeah. Link up. Let's team up. Everybody said no. Everybody's like, no.
Token NFL player throwing money at a game.
Yep. Everybody told me they're like, he's just the NFL guy. I don't trust him. So I told Kenny all of this transparently. I was like, we need the respect tour. So for 1 year, just like how I did with uploading every day, streaming every day, Kenny streamed just about every single day for an entire year to kind of like prove that you were a gamer too.
And just competing. We competed. Everybody.
A gamer first, really, right?
Yeah, and everybody just competing against the same people that said no, and then eventually beating them. They're like, oh, shit. Like, I remember going in Trials of Osiris, and me and you, we matched Jake and Butt White.
Yep.
Bet.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Quick one.
So then about 6 to 8 months later,
this was during the time when I had kind of a similar situation you had after Halo Reach, where I got plugged into such a professional, like, hour eater job where I was working like minimum.
Oh yeah, dude.
I literally I didn't touch a video game for over 12 months.
I asked Hunter like every other day, where's Cody at? Where's
I wanted to game. I just couldn't physically look at a screen for any longer after 12 hours of accounting and spreadsheets. Like,
and even going back before that, we're out of order. Because I told you, quit your job. I'll help you out on the editing side.
Yep.
So you can go. We go into that, and then we'll get back.
So I quit a $120 just about $1,000 a year job to finally make this kind of content dream I had and didn't even really know I had, I guess, come true. And this is about 6 to 8 months into the respect tour for Kenny. Yeah. Started getting more respect, started getting more guys that were interested in potentially doing something like an org. But then we three strategically made the decision, like, no, let's almost like send Hunter in as like a Trojan horse. Because
you got the SOAR offer.
I remember you coming to me like, I think he told you, like,
you were like kind of upset about it, and you were upset about it too. And I was like, no.
I don't think I was upset. I think it was more like
I was upset.
He consulted you, like, hey man, what am I going to tell Kenny? And I think you thought I was gonna be like super sad.
You were like happy, definitely happy for him for that.
Yeah, I was happy, but I was just like, because we were gonna really do it.
Yeah,
right?
we were.
And then you're like, I was like, you know what? Just go do it.
Yeah, this is right on the cusp of starting G1 ourselves. SOAR reached out and made me that big offer, and we were all kind of like, man, why don't you just like get the inside scoop on like how these orgs operate, like kind of like learn something. Like
if we even can.
Well, we had our experience at Infinite, which wasn't a good one.
Yep.
And that was more of an esports based organization.
Yep.
So
we saw from the inside out how Optic got demolished.
And
this was corporate Optic.
Yeah, and this was coming off. Yep. You quit your job, right? We do the editor challenge, obviously. Yep. Halo Zinnick, shout out to him. Be serious. They come on board. Halo, it was like unanimous within the community.
Yep.
To win that challenge.
Community vote.
I think it was 20 videos. Was it?
Yeah, 20 videos in 20 days.
20 days. Did it. And then that was kind of the catalyst, I think. SOAR's just peeping game.
Yeah.
And then you get brought on.
Yeah, and then your situation at SOAR was really like. It was one of those things where we knew we were still going to do what we were going to do, but it was like, we're not going to put a time frame on it. We're like, all right, we're still doing this respect tour, Kenny, right? You guys are playing all the time. He's streaming, putting his face out there. And we didn't know when we were going to get back to it, but it was like, go do it. And when the time's right,
we'll know.
We'll make, it'll happen.
Yeah, so I stayed with SOAR for a little bit. I enjoyed my experience for the most part, but a lot like corporate optics, SOAR started bringing in some corporate folks who
we're learning,
just really like derailed the culture and a lot of the cool shit that we had planned at SOAR. And then at one point, the suits promised us salary, sponsorships, and I still had guys on my team that were back paid for doing G Fuel stuff. They never got they never got payment.
Tweeting out merch
drops, all that stuff.
Codes.
And I put a drop dead date on it. It was March 8th. I was like, if y'all have all of this for me and my players and my team by March 8th. And we weren't asking for much. It's like we're asking for like $250,000. We were asking for like $250,000.
Maybe
It wasn't much. It wasn't much.
The best players in Destiny. Like
for the best players in Destiny. Yeah, so we could really embrace the kind of the subculture, and it reminded me a lot of the OG MLG days. Honestly, Destiny did with that kind of grassroots competition, which I loved. And March 8th rolls around midnight, and they said, "Nah, we ain't gonna do it." And so I hit up Kenny. I was like, "Man, we're being mistreated. We're getting promised this, that. We could probably and we both agreed we could just do this. We could do this better ourselves."
Yep.
And so that's
Stayed
how
up all night, all day, got the logo.
We created the org in 24 hours.
The mantra, it's bigger than us, kind of came from a background in football, and the team being bigger than one individual, and just how we wanted to, operate the org. Kind of our mantra, our org thesis. It kind of came together. I remember the original logo. I still have the original paper. It literally has tobacco on it because all the dip I always have on my fingers. I had like drawing it out, and having all these versions sent over by Cuddy. What's his name? You got it trademarked. The original artist.
Was it Podgy?
Was it Podgy?
No, it was Dwayne. It was Dwayne Key or.
I think Podgy did the first
merch drop.
No, it was the logo, or the gummy bear.
The gummy bears.
That was what. Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember, I remember I told you we have to we want to leave, and then the next morning everybody announced.
Yeah.
And then I guess you came back to the team, the Destiny roster, and we're like, we're gonna do this. Who wants to come? Everybody put their hands up.
Yep.
Everybody's coming, right? So the next morning, it says Left Sword Gaming, join G1 official.
Everyone's like, wait, what's G1?
I still have that video on my Instagram today. I think it has the highest number of views that I've ever had outside of my retirement chapter 2 video ever on my Instagram. And it's just a basic.
It was literally just names scrolling on a wheel. That was it.
A lot of people don't know that the 24-hour collection we first dropped is an ode to those first 24 hours that you guys rallied up. And it wasn't just the sword guys. Like, you guys got BSK.
The top Destiny clan at the time. And that was in that whirlwind of a 24 hours where we essentially built the foundation for G1. I kind of told Kenny, I was like, hold up. We got to make one more play. Let me go downstairs, because I was living with Cody at the time.
You were working too, though, weren't you?
He had just gotten.
So he might have been just gotten.
It was February. The last day of February was my last day at Streamlabs. Right before the pandemic hit, they did a lot of role reduction, just kind of trimmed it down in kind of anticipation for what was coming. So yeah, March 1st was my first day unemployed.
Yeah, so we were already kind of, me and Hunter, Cody had a job, right? So we were already plotting, what we wanted to do. Like, we'll see how it goes. We already had it in the back of our head.
Yep.
So as soon as that happened, it was like, all right, it's go time.
Yep. So I went downstairs. I was like, Cody, we need you, bro. Kenny and I are very similar personality types. And I told him straight up, I was like, I think we would drive this into the ground, honestly, with our energy.
Straight vision, no execution.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I was like, we need, I know I'm really good on the front end, and I think Kenny is too, but we really need someone to lock it down on the back end, and numbers, financials, processes, all that stuff. And I've known Cody since I was, again, 12, 13 years old. So I knew that this was his skill set, his personality, honestly. So he was kind of hesitant at the time because he was in transition. I don't know. I was like, nah, bro.
That's a big risk.
This has been leading up to this moment for too long. You don't have a choice. We're doing it.
For me, it was, I had been detached from
gaming.
At that point, from when you joined SOAR to when this happened, that was the whole year that I wasn't.
You weren't
gaming.
I
wasn't playing game. I wasn't gaming at all. I had just lost my job.
Yeah.
Pandemic hits. I'm locked in the crib. I'm about to go on the one vacation I took that year, right when COVID came in. So I wasn't thinking about anything at that point. I was Destiny. I had kind of gotten away from, because I wasn't playing at all, and it was a no for me off the rip. And
it was risky.
I don't know what the actual the thing is, for me, the job side of things is, even when I was at Streamlabs, I wasn't a full-time employee. I was a full-time employee, but I wasn't W-2. I was a 1099, so didn't have any benefits or anything there. No, it was, since they were in California, we lived in Texas. It was a little bit of a different arrangement, but sometimes there's just divine intervention, and if you really look out into the world when you're in a state of flux, or you have a decision, the answer kind of gets presented to you. And I don't know, I'm not really weird and superstitious and stuff like that, but I thought it was dope. I saw y'all's announcement video. I saw the logo. I told you off the rip, I was like, that logo's fucking sick.
There was a lot of hype too. You probably saw like, oh shit, like they're actually.
I was like, this is substantial. I told Hunter, I was like, I mean, with the roster you guys have, y'all could definitely make waves if you like do the right stuff. So yeah, you asked me to join, and like the answer was no at the beginning, but I hopped in the whip to go like grab food one day, and I pulled behind this car, and this is when we were living in the house in the edge of Plano and Murphy, and there's a church out there I think called like Gateway Church, and this car pulled in front of me. I turned right behind them, and their logo was literally the G1 logo, but where the G comes in and like turns into a 1, instead of a 1 there, it had a cross. And I was just like, this is way too like coincidental for me to not like take part in it.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, you know what? Like, probably took like another week for me to decide, but I was like, fuck it, let's run it.
Yeah. And what's crazy, even before that decision, Cruiser was working with us.
Yep.
He was going to be an owner, founder of the company. You know, we really like, you know, his background with YouTube and, you know, him being entrenched in the Destiny scene. But, I mean, he didn't believe in it. And shit. Well, damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think about, right?
Yeah,
like
man.
I didn't realize how young he was. He was like
19.
19.
Yeah.
And it's hard to put your faith and trust in, you know, people that you feel like you may not know well enough to get into business like that. And just the riskiness of an org in general. Like, so I can and I think more than anything for him and for a lot of content creators, why they don't start organizations is because it's hard enough to manage your own content and plan it out and make sure it just gets uploaded.
Yep.
Now you got to do that for 12, 13, 14, 15 people as well.
You got to have a certain mentality.
It's a sacrifice
to be able to think about everybody else. That it's bigger than us. Like that's the reason why we were able to operate this org with just 3 people for as long as we did, because our backgrounds, like our views, our perspective on life. You know, you were in marketing, sales. You know what I mean? Radio. Yep. Cuddy had a finance degree, but he's really a creative director. Yep. You know what I mean? And then I just love everything. So it's just like that's how we did it.
Yep.
We didn't need that many pieces. But as you start growing this roster, and you start getting into these different esports, all these different, you know, trials, tribulations, whatever you want to call it, come up, you got to start adding key pieces to the team that can, you know, take us to the next level.
Yep. Yeah. Now we're in that growth stage.
43 people in our Discord now.
Yeah, it's crazy to go from 3 to 30s, even nuts. But we're over that. So it's been a wild 3 years. But I think that encapsulates and encompasses the most of the entirety of our origin story.
Yeah, the only thing
anything else you guys can think of
touch on is like coming from the Destiny world. We kind of like the whole G1 formation really happened at the pinnacle of Destiny PvP. Forsaken. That was when like grassroots tournaments. There's never really been a ton of like
we carried it,
like publisher developer support there. There was a lot of stuff going on. There was tournaments all the time. There was really big personalities, and after that it kind of like fizzled out, and we had to really look I think it was right at the like 18-month mark where we like everything had been funded like personally out of Kenny's pocket to just make sure that these people were being paid, and like they were being very well compensated for what they were doing at the time. Game got stale, and a lot of people just kind of fell off on their content grind, just having a hard time finding a way to really keep the PvP stuff alive, whether it be like YouTube videos or just there's not a lot of stuff to stream. Like people just were not online Tuesday through Thursday, and it was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, play trials,
just trials,
go away, and running recoveries or carries or whatever. And we kind of got to the point where it was like, I mean, we're running out of cash. The game's kind of not what it used to be. We really can't do anything else here right now. What's the play? And that's when we looked out at the roadmap and we're like, man, like Halo Infinite.
It's about the drop.
It's all about everything.
Shades of Destiny.
Of our past. Like it made all the sense in the world in an esport that has a really low barrier to entry from an organizational standpoint. And we knew when the game was announced that it was going to be a play we try to make. But that was the moment where we were like, if this is going to survive out the end of 2021, like we got to make this play. And that's when
came home.
Kenny secured the bag on on a whim at the very last minute before we got to just completely bankrupt. Yeah. We signed a team. I mean, at that point, the rest is.
I mean, we just wouldn't have no money. Like it was getting to the point where
gotten to the point
I was either going to have to refund again, or we were going to raise capital. And pretty much, I think what it took, like from the first time I told you I met with Mitch, it probably took a week.
Yeah, it was quick.
Yeah, it was quick. He believed in it.
But that's exactly what we needed at the time. Was
we needed something to happen. We just all believed. I mean, it's all that cash. Honestly, we've done well with it. I'd say the way we bootstrapped and what we've built, this facility, like the roster, the staff we have, it shows you what type of culture we have. You know, we got people that bought in, that just wanted to be here regardless.
Yep. Should be a part of something bigger than yourself.
Yeah, I mean, and we've always preached that. I mean, we've done shit wrong. Like, we fucked up. Everybody does.
Yep.
But we've learned from it. We pivoted. I think we've done a good job, especially early on that first year of Destiny. Always making something good come out of something bad.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to get to the laundry list of things.
For sure.
It's just
like the
crazy cheating scandals, just a bunch of like interpersonal drama with creators, canceling of some like people we had. I mean, it's one of those things, like, you just got to take it on the chin, move on. Like,
we responded well, though. We always had integrity. Like, even the whole Lumi situation, we had to make a move, right?
Yep.
It's Juneteenth.
I had to make some hard, tough calls.
At 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
1 a.m.
1 a.m.
We got to let him go.
Yep.
And Lumi, and shout out to him, too. He's like, I respect it. It's bigger
he understood.
He said, it's bigger than myself. It says, you got a whole team to worry about.
Yep.
Situations with, I mean, I don't want to get into too many names, but Panda and that whole situation get interrogated by Sir D. I'll never forget that.
Crazy,
too, man. I mean, shoot. I wouldn't have it any other way, though. I learned so much.
Well, I definitely think that tees up our next podcast episode with each other. We talked to you guys through our origin story, a little bit creeping into that first year, but based on what you guys just said over the past 5-10 minutes, I definitely think we got a pretty juicy episode lined up for you guys next to really connect all the dots, bring you guys from concept to inception to these first couple of years we've had, which have been an absolute whirlwind, and in some regards have been unprecedented, especially with what we accomplished last year in Halo, popping off like that. But yeah, I just want to thank Cody and Kenny for joining us today. I'll be hosting a lot of these podcasts, so you guys can expect a lot more. We're going to have different guests from G1. We're going to have different members from the gaming community in Austin. Hell, we might even fly out to somebody if they're an interesting enough of a guest, so we'll be on the lookout for that. In the meantime, make sure you guys leave some questions in the comment section. I want to know, like, is there anything from this origin story that you guys have questions about? Maybe we can answer some of those on the next episode. But other than that, make sure you guys subscribe, leave a comment, thumbs up, ring the bell, all that good stuff. It goes a long way towards making sure that we're pushing this content out there to you guys. And we'll see you guys in the next one.